wrinkles, sagginess, droopiness, hollowness, all of those things. So your ECM is so significant. It's a network of proteins, carbohydrate, macromolecules. They serve as physical support. They're physical scaffold of our tissues. And that space also is important because you have molecules there, and these molecules are responsible for like the signal transduction pathway. You also have repair molecules, regenerative molecules, restorative molecules in your ECM. So if your ECM is, in terms of its function, it's decreasing already. So that is equivalent to the aging process. So our ECM, okay, with the primary component, the main component in your ECM is your collagen, right? So if you're 25, those who are 25 right now, you have 10% collagen loss. Anybody 25? Me, you reverse the 25, I'm 52, I'm 50% collagen loss already. So we still have below 25. Aging starts at 25 right now. Now for women undergoing menopause like me, there's this 30% reduction for the first 5 years. So girls, when you're in your menopausal age, 30% in the first 5 years, and then 1 to 2% every year. So girls, be ready for that, okay? So I just have this video, an endoscopy of the skin.
With the movement, they immediately align themselves with the traction. Their former position disappears, and a new shape is adopted. Then, as if by memory, they return to their initial position. With every single daily gesture, be it a caress or a fall, the skin undergoes this form of translation, traction and stretching. Yet with the exception of open wounds, it returns to its initial position. Of course, this movement has been known since time immemorial. It's called elasticity. But the question is, how is this elasticity linked to the subcutaneous structures? With the aid of a video endoscope, we began to stroll around under the skin to try to understand this apparently simple word of sliding, mobility, and smooth slippery surfaces. We wanted to find out how it could accomplish both fast, sometimes violent movements, and gentle, minute ones without the slightest jerkiness. Dissect with a surgical blade, and what do you see? Just a wealth of tissue connections, a histological continuum, without any clear separations between the skin, the dermis, the hypodermis, the vessels, the aponeurosis and the muscles. How is it then that this can all move so smoothly, and how can sliding come about?
So that's due to those ECM fibrous protein materials that we have. So we know that in your skin you have all these important extracellular matrix proteins. We have collagen, we have elastin. These are responsible for the strength and rigidity and shape of our skin structures, right? So in the histology, if you have this older skin already, you can see the papilla in the papillary dermis area. It's already becoming straight and less of those dense collagenous protein tissues in your aging skin. And you've heard about SAS, the senescence associated secretory phenotype. So you know all these cells, they communicate also. So senescent cells, they release signal molecules to other cells, telling them, hey, be senescent like me. So that's a bad news, okay? And also the so-called inflammaging, you know, the chronic inflammation. These senescent cells, they release inflammatory signals to the other cells, increasing the aging of your skin. So what do we do to combat this ECM deterioration? So we make use of our energy-based devices, laser devices. You also have now your polymers. You've heard about the biostimulators. And then we have hyaluronic dermal filler. So in the past, we've been using a lot of these hyaluronic substances, those collagen stimulators and skin boosters containing hyaluronic acids. But because of the pillow face phenomenon right now, a lot of patients are wanting no fillers on their face. So what else can we offer to them? And they will ask you, what choice do I have? So now, because of the collagen being the major component in your dermis, 80 to 85%. Imagine that's a big percentage. Your glycosaminoglycans 10%, proteoglycans 5%, elastin 4% only. So your collagen, it's classified as fibrous protein, and we have 28 types in our body. And collagen, it's an alpha triple helical structure. 3 repeating amino acids, glycine, proline, hydroxy, proline. Now the problem with collagen, it's a natural polymer. The other polymers you've been hearing are synthetic polymers. Okay, so this one is natural. But the thing with natural polymers, they induce the so-called antigenicity. Now, to reduce that antigenicity, we have to cleave off the amino acid residues on those terminal ends. So your alpha amino terminal end and the alpha carboxy terminal end. Cleave that off, okay, and then you'll have an end product called atelocollagen. So the enzyme they use is pepsin, okay? So they have papers showing the safety of this atelocollagen and also efficacy, like as a topical. For wrinkles, even for stretch marks, you can use this atelocollagen. And then there's this paper about the preparation of the atelocollagen from the porcine skin and its application in delaying the aging of the skin via stimulation of fibroblasts, activation of fibroblasts, increasing the migration and chemotaxis of the fibroblasts. So senescent fibroblasts, you have to reverse their senescence. You have to restore their viability. So in the paper, they've shown the improvement in the cell viability, adhesion, and the migration of these cells. And at the same time, that marker for senescence, it's beta-galactosidase, an enzyme you find in those senescent cells. So in this paper, with the collagen application, there's a reduction in that beta-galactosidase. And even that ROS, a culprit in your intrinsic-extrinsic aging, there's also a reduction of your ROS. Okay? And then the protein markers for senescence, P53, P16, something that will halt cell cycle, the cell mitosis, something, they have reported a reduction in all those markers. So in summary, so reducing the senescence of the cells via reducing beta-galactosidase, reducing ROS, reducing P53, P16, and then also increasing the precursors for your collagen synthesis. And on the other hand, you have more collagen, there's fibroblast activation, you reduce now the so-called MMPs, the enemies of your collagen. And on the other hand, you elevate the friend of collagen, which is TIMP, tissue inhibitor of the metalloproteinases. And you have improved epidermis layer, dermis layer. You also have this collagen type 1, type 3 ratio shifted to that youthful skin. And the thing here, there's no major organ accumulation and no physiological toxicity. So when you apply that collagen, so you will be reducing the so-called ROS and then decreasing MMPs and halting that collagen breakdown. And on the other hand, you'll also help in the halting the senescence of the cells via this reduction of these protein markers, hence inhibiting the cell cycle arrest. So that's the one from the paper. And then it's also used in other fields, not only in aesthetic dermatology or regenerative medicine. And this is a paper on the safety of the product as well. So I've mentioned about the bovine collagen, allergic reactions, and also the BSE. Okay, so come now our porcine-derived collagen. Okay, do you eat pork? Yeah, it's just that in our country there are regions that they don't eat pork, so I have to ask my patients if they are like avoiding pork. I just cannot give this treatment to those patients. Okay, so this one also a paper on like if it will stimulate collagen synthesis as well. So they've shown that it can also. Okay, I think I missed that paper, okay? So that one is on the safety and efficacy of the porcine collagen. So we're using those energy-based devices, injectables, polymers, to stimulate collagen synthesis, right? So if you have already a collagen product, you can directly inject a type 1 collagen in the dermis of your patient's skin. And this type of collagen, when you inject it, it's gonna give that kind of natural looking appearance as compared to the hyaluronic. It has aggregates of those hyaluronic substances. Plus, it also has this uniform and orderly pattern of those collagen fibers. Okay, so this one is neocollagenesis when you also inject this collagen injectable. So we want to restore your ECM, we want to regenerate that, and with this atelocollagen, reducing the antigenicity, we can now safely inject it. So this one is like a social media video whereby they were showing a woman injected with 12 ml of hyaluronic. After 3 years, they did volumetric analysis. The amount became 28 ml after 3 years. So there was like a tissue expansion. So in summary, these are like the effects of the collagen injectable. So there's direct effect of delivering your collagen. Also collagen synthesis, ROS reduction, cell cycle modulation, and also a so-called foreign body response. Okay? So what's the position of the Atello collagen? It can be, it's a natural volumizer, it's a natural polymer, okay? And it can also be a tissue stimulator, also a biostimulator, as shown in the paper that was given. So how do we use it? Where do we use it? So first, you can also use it as a skin booster. So you just have to hyperdilute it, like 1 ml of your Atello collagen plus 5 ml of a 2% solution, and then inject it intradermally like a skin booster. Okay, so that's one. And then another one is to treat under-eye hollowness or dark circles. You can inject the undiluted Atello collagen. And then there are other indications. So right now you can also use it for the static wrinkles on the forehead, for the static wrinkles on the glabellar area, even on the radix of the nose, and then nasojugal groove, teardrop, nasolabial lines, and acne scars, atrophic acne scars. So these are other indications of this injectable, okay? And then you can still use it as a filler and then still dilute it with 1 to 2 ml of your tumescent solution. And again, use it in those areas from wrinkles, glabellar wrinkles, and also around mouth, lines and wrinkles around mouth area, okay? So other indications for our collagen injectable and even hand area, okay? You can still use that injectable collagen, okay? So as a skin booster, you have to dilute it. So I do a manual injection of this one, face and neck, and sometimes I also use my multi-injection or multi-injector, like those multi-pins. You can also use that device for this one. So let me show my first case, 24-year-old male with concerns of under-eye hollowness or dark circles, okay? So the method that I did with him, so identify your entry point. So a vertical line and a horizontal line, entry point, and then cannula method. You deliver your undiluted collagen in the subdermis layer. So it's like a fanning micro droplet technique for this case. So I use an introducer needle, special one. I have presbyopia. So I poke and then leave the needle there and then insert the cannula and then deliver the product in the subdermis plane from the tear trough and then to the pulvibromalar groove to your lateral canthal area. So like tiny aliquots, fanning method for this one. So the result, this one before and after. Okay. And then I did this also on the patient's mom. I think the patient a while ago inherited it from the mom. So the mom also had this treatment. Actually the mom, I did not only the under eye but also the skin booster treatment for the mom. Okay. So we also have the so-called sandwich method right now. So you place the collagen filler on the reticular dermis or subdermis, and then you can place already your scaffold PDO threads in the subcutaneous plane, deep subcutaneous layer. So that's what we call subcutaneous or rather sandwich technique. So the method right now is to approach all the layers because aging is affecting all the layers, right? So some treatment modalities, it will just depend whatever the problem of your patient's skin is. And then the scaffold, the one that I'm using, has 12 strands of PDO filaments folded on each other. So it's now a total of like a 24 strands. And with this type of braided threads, braided PDO, they stimulate more fibroblasts, they activate more fibroblasts and more growth factors and more collagen synthesized. So the fibrous bridging effect as well, it's like restoring the foundation, the frame, the structural framework of the skin tissues. So you can use it for head creases, nasojugal, you can also apply it on the nasolabial, labiomandibular, neck wrinkles. Okay. So these are papers showing the efficacy of that scaffold PDO threads. And you can also, like, if you're treating some nasojugal groove area, you place it beneath that zygomatic cutaneous ligament to also support that ligament there, okay? And even to the orbital retaining ligament. So some papers showing the results. And better cellular adhesion and more of the fibrous bridging effect when you have those multiple strands, multiple filaments braided or kind of like intertwined or coiled to each other, okay? So you can do a combination of this one. So when you have a collagen filler, you can place it in the deep dermis or subdermis. And if you have the volumizing PDO threads, you can also place it in the subcutaneous plane. So this is where you place those products. So let me share my case of a 71-year-old male with concerns of on his under eye. Okay, so the procedure that I did, I started with injections of those monofilament PDO thread called Dermaspring Eye. So when you say spring, kind of like the PDO strand is coiled around that cannula, okay? So I made 5 entry points and I used 5 of those Dermaspring Eye, gauge 27 cannula with 50mm length of the thread and place it in the subdermis plane. And then this is the scaffold. The scaffold I place under the orbital retaining ligament. And then after that, I use my atelocollagen on the subdermis layer. Kind of like something to refine or to smoothen the surface. So you have the deep layer, a scaffold thread, and then on the superficial layer, something to make it smoother, refined, or even. And then I also added Dermaspring Eye for the lateral canthal wrinkle. So this was the design that I applied for that case. So on this side, the threads, and then the fanning technique for the collagen injection. So immediately after, there's an instant improvement. And then the patient also sent me a photo. He has a flight going back to the US, so still good. So this is the lateral view and the oblique view. And a female case, also wanting to improve the under eye. She's saying that she looks so tired and haggard. And I used the atelocollagen. That's the first one that I injected on her. Atelocollagen first. Same technique, cannula method, and then fanning, and then microdroplet. So unlike the first one, I started with the threads, right? And then the atelocollagen. So this one, I started with the atelocollagen. Then after that, after this collagen injectable, I placed the scaffold PDO threads under the eye. So this case is, as compared to the first one, a severe one, right? This one is kind of milder, okay? So this was the result. So immediately after, so there's an improvement already. So even like 6 weeks after she sent the photo. So you can also apply the combination atelocollagen on the forehead creases. Let me share this case of Dr. Kim, from Jeff Clinic in Gangnam, Korea. Okay, he shared this his technique on treating that deep creases on the forehead, because it's not easy to get rid of the deep lines on the forehead, right? Those with static wrinkle, you cannot treat those with botulinum toxin anymore. So he shared this technique. So first the hydrodissection with tumescent anesthesia, and then PDO scaffold threads, 3 pieces per side, subcutaneous plane, and then 1 ml of his atelocollagen subcutaneous, and another 1 ml of the atelocollagen into the etched line. So he did a serial puncture technique using a 235 needle. Okay. So he demonstrated this to us when we were in Gangnam, Korea last year. So the results, it's so remarkable. You cannot get this with botulinum toxin, right? So it's a remarkable outcome also. So that's an alternative treatment for those deep forehead wrinkles. Then under eye, he also shared some of the pictures for nasojugal and then nasolabial. So nasolabial and then neck wrinkles as well. So you can also use combination scaffold and PDO threads. Let me just skip that. Okay. So let me invite you. We have ASLS in Korea, October.